those are straight Muslim Christians, you know what I'm saying? And I'm tired of being in situations and ciphers where there are no solutions presented. And when there's no solutions, there's no commonality. And when there's no commonality, nobody's getting together to actually plan for the future. So while we're not doing that, they doing all of this. While you not planning, they create. This is one of the ugliest buildings I've ever seen in my life. This Barclays thing, it's disgusting. They couldn't get a better architect to flip this. But no, look at what they do. They put they put the Third Reich eagle right in the blue. You see that? Mm-hmm. Look up pictures. You got the light mode. They got pictures. If you go back on and look on the Third Reich, especially under a guy named Heinrich Himmler, they got the same Nazi eagle on the joint. So that's a coincidence? Look up Barclays in London. And look up how they were investors
in slavery,
in, right? Not only slavery, into the British East India Company. Okay. They were responsible for the Opium Wars that decimated all the original Asiatic so-called Chinese people because they didn't want to do business with the Caucasoid European after he displaced us over here. So they only wanted to do business with the original Republican government. Mm-hmm. In Japan, they call this land Beikoko.
Say that again. They called it what?
Beikoko.
Beikoko.
Right. Bei meaning Lord. Koko meaning black.
Black. Right. Wow.
So in that, they had to decimate them in World War II and hit them with the bomb that they were supposed to drop on the Germans. And ever since then, these dudes been all about Hello Kitty and manga and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they have a whole culture that's been bleached out. Where prior to 1945, most of the Japanese people look just like us. Darker, even, in some places. Especially in what they call the hinterlands out there.
Right.
But I say all of that to say that how they also flipped it was they got one of their shills, so-called Sean Carter, to act like he was the face for it.
Right.
Because what they do is they use so-called stooges, Freemasonic stooges like that, give them certain prestige so that way they can be the face. So that way when they want to gentrify a joint, they use him as the placeholder, so you think it's a black man coming up on it when he don't even own maybe less than 0.1% of this thing. But they marketed it like it was his idea.
Right, yeah, that was it.
And because he's from Brooklyn, and because he's from Marcy, and because people done made him the god or some or whatever. And again, I'm not picking on him, I'm just using him as an example. We could go straight. And so they've created a situation of a perpetual slave mentality that only exists in the mind. So there was a brother.
Go ahead. So when Kanye says things like slavery was a choice, mm-hmm. What do you think about a statement like that? 500 years of slavery sounds like a choice.
Well, what we first got to understand is that brother is not in his original mind, and he may not have ever been. And unfortunately, when your mother is put in a position, you know what I mean, and you have lost to such a degree where you have no basis, and then you marry somebody who's a known, I don't want to disrespect his wife, but somebody who's known to be promiscuous to such a degree that there's actually pornography out on them, and this is who you choose to incarnate your children from, you cannot take anything seriously from that person. So the fact that so-called black, that was really a psychological operation to see how many so-called black people still identify with him. You understand what I'm saying? And so that is also a distraction. That and the Pusha T Drake thing, that was also a distraction. Hold on, let me get it out. To take you away from what's happening for real in the world, which is this. I got a picture. Hold up. I'm going to show you.
Okay.
Which is this. People out here bugging, and everybody's debating on Pusha T and all of that. Meanwhile, we got a black sister who was found dismembered, and her organs taken out. Her fingers and her toes is gone, and all her organs was taken out. This happened on the same day, or like maybe 2 or 3 days before the whole thing happened. Then there was another sister, if I could find her, another sister she was found hung, I think from in Atlanta. You understand? So you have a situation where they just talked about how there's over 35,000 so-called young black women and young black men that's just disappearing constantly.
Right.
Where they going?
Right.
Who's getting rid of them? How come this is not the first thing on our mind? How come we give a damn about what Kanye West say? When Kanye West ain't been black since since he signed with The Rock. Let's keep it real. He told you he gonna leave a black girl for the white girl. He told you that. So when he say that slavery didn't exist or that slavery was a choice, what he's really saying, in my opinion, is that if you choose to be in the system that I'm in now, you're choosing that. But if you identify with a slave mentality, then you'll always be that. And in that instance, he's right. But he's a slave himself. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
So why am I going to take his word above somebody that's well-learned or even my own? Because Kanye West is not a leader. Jay-Z, Beyonce, these are not leaders. Al Sharpton is not a leader. These people are chosen for you. Black people are the only people in the world that have to have leaders. And whenever you have a leader, you see what I'm saying? You're going to be led wherever this person take you. So when it comes to other races, they have what you call ambassadors, representatives, presidents, right? Eldermen, right? Advocates, right? What do? They get all of these people out here and then they force gentrify. Look at this. This shit don't even look real. I've been to Vegas and these buildings look the same way. This is prefabricated joint. If there's a fire in this thing is kindling. This thing is going up. These things are not even real in terms of the structure. There's no actual concrete and stuff like that. None of that is in that. And they outprice this thing so that way you don't pay attention to these things. The real buildings, the brownstones that was built by our ancestors before any people got here. They got you believing that you are in a constant state of removal, where you are never at home where you are. Because these people who have gentrified you, marginalized you, once you get into a place where your community is popping, that's when they want to come in and shut it down. Why? Because unity means that if we get together, we're ascending back to the throne, which means they're going back to the cave. Period. It has nothing to do with me not liking so-called white people or Caucasian people. It has nothing to do with me not identifying with the slave label of so-called black. I know the difference in what that means. I'm not one of these Moors where I'm so-called black phobic, where if you say peace black man, I'm going to say, oh, well, you know, Moor, I'm not black or whatever. If that's how you understand it, that's cool. I got to know what I am. And so I'm black, but I'm not black like that. You know what I'm saying? In the sense that I'm not the negative connotation of what that corresponds to at law. We enslave ourselves based upon what we describe ourselves as. Period. We talk down about ourselves at every chance we get. We are the only people who take the ignorance of us and celebrate that. No other culture do that. Every other culture want to make themselves seem like they pristine and they not doing nothing. Everybody know internationally, just go on and check Interpol, that Nigerians per se, people from Nigeria, are known for scamming. That don't mean every Nigerian do that. But when it comes to international scamming, they just found a white man who was acting as a Nigerian prince, who received over $100 million. They said this nigga was getting money for years.
Wow.
Somewhere like in the Midwest somewhere. He's saying he a Nigerian prince. And everybody's sending him money. Because he had what you call us doing that. I also noticed in this city, I just came from Union Square. And this city gets you to the point where you just start screaming at it. You just start screaming in the street. I just came and seen like 5 people in Union Square just bugging, just in the street bugging.
Yo, a lot of people in the city bugged out now.
Yes, because you're in an open prison. They got you thinking that the prison is like Brooklyn House or Rikers, when really, this is the prison. Why? Look at the cell tower. Look at the satellite dish. Look at the cell dishes. Look at the police cameras. You understand what I'm saying? All of these most cameras in the world. They say crime has been going down every year succinctly. So why you got more militarization of police? If crime is going down and deaths are going down, how is it that you have more police? Shouldn't you have less police? No, you can't. Because police represent the policy. And the policy is we keep these niggas locked down regardless.